Hello and welcome. So the topic of today is how to use OSM data and process it in QGIS. So you probably have a QGIS installation and now you want to import OpenStreetMap data into QGIS. So how do you do that? So normally there's an open source plugin. It's called QuickOSM. You can download it and install it. It's free, and with QuickOSM you can query an Overpass servers and import the OSM, the OpenStreetMap data, and then process it in QGIS, like draw maps or do analytics, whatever your use case or your project is. And the QuickOSM plugin queries Overpass servers, and these Overpass servers provide the OSM data. So Overpass servers usually have a copy of the OpenStreetMap data, and they provide the data to the QuickOSM plugin that then imports the data into QGIS. So now public Overpass servers are great, and usually they are provided for free, and the companies or organizations don't make any money. So it's like shared public goods. So you might want to use those servers ethically, meaning you should not request too big data, you should not request frequently data. And in economics, it's called the tragedy of the commons. If there's something free, a lot of people will use it and use it a lot because it's free. And so you might want to avoid that and might want to use it only for small and occasional queries. So that's how to use it ethically. And now if you have the use case where you want to use it on big data and a lot of data, or you want to query frequently OpenStreetMap data, you might want to consider using a private Overpass instance. That is good when you have more comprehensive and frequent queries, like you want to query a bigger region, or you want to query regularly, like every day you will need to do some analytics, and then you can install an Overpass instance on your local network. And you need to have a computer with sufficient RAM and disk space. So depending on the region you want to query, it might be quite significant the disk space you need. For example, for whole of Europe, it might be terabytes. So so you need to provide for real resources that you can do that query. And on a local, in a private instance, you do not have usually rate limits, so you can query as often as you like, as often as the system is able to do it. You have more privacy than when you query a public instance, and usually you have higher speed, of course, depending on your system. Also, you can have higher reliability compared to a public instance. So this is an architectural overview of the systems involved. On the right hand side you have the yellow box, that's QGIS with the QuickOSM plugin installed. On the top you have the gray box. These are the public Overpass servers that you can query with QuickOSM, but you might want to do that only occasionally, as I explained before, because it puts a strain on those servers. And so on the center side, you have the local computer. It has a blue box. That's the Overpass server that you can install on your machine. And usually these are Docker files that you can install on your server. And there are several open source projects that provide these Docker files and Docker images. One of the projects is mine, and I will paste a link in the description of this YouTube video so you can look them up. Usually how these Overpass server projects work, they have a loader, and so you download an OSM region file from the internet, usually it's free, and then it's got loaded into the Overpass server, and then the Overpass server communicates with the QuickOSM plugin via an HTTP API and transfers the data into QGIS. Once you have the data in QGIS, you can create maps or do your analytics, your analysis, and do your projects. Yeah, now let's make a quick demo how you can set up QuickOSM, to configure QuickOSM, how to access the Overpass server locally. Yes, here we are in QGIS, and first you need to install a plugin. Go to plugins, manage and install plugins. Here you look for QuickOSM. I have already installed it. Normally you can click here install button and then it gets installed. Once it's installed, you have here this icon. You click this icon, then the dialog comes. You have various presets here, and then what's important for us, that's the parameters tab. That's only been available in the newer versions. So if you have an older version, please update. And here normally you see a number of public API servers, Overpass servers like Overpass API DE and others. And what's important, if you want to use a local server, you have to add your server here. So add a custom Overpass server, that's this option here. And you can have here HTTP, and then in my case Hayek or MAC, that's the machine name. You can also enter an IP address here, and then the port of your Overpass API and the path, the URL path here. The nominatim API can remain as is. And now you can do a quick query, like for example, we want to get all the buildings. Here you have all the values and properties that you can search for. For example, all buildings, that's quite a lot depending on the city. And here in this field you enter in, and then you can enter a village name. It gets looked up by nominatim. You can also use canvas extend or other options. I will use Brno, that's a city in the Czech Republic, because on my Overpass server I have data of Czechia. So what you enter here depends on your use case, obviously. Here are some other options here, like advanced, what you want, all the nodes, all the ways, all the points, lines, multi-line strings, etc. Here timeout might be important if you have a lot of data, or if it's like a slower system, you might want to change that. And now when you have entered all these values here, you can enter run the query, and then let's try it out, what happens. Now you see the data appears, you close the dialog, and here you have different layers on this side for different data types. And here you can just work with your data as you like, create maps or do analytics, whatever your use case. Yeah, that's it for now. Thanks for watching, and if you liked the video, please give a thumbs up or subscribe. Thank you.